They say the forest was never just trees. It was a boundary, a living wall between this world and something else, something ancient, restless, and sealed deep within the earth. Before the land had a name, before the rivers were mapped, the forest was a holy place. The elders spoke of spirits guardians, they called them. The moss keeper, the ash mother, the hollow-eyed one, each bound by blood to the barrier they maintained, each tasked with keeping it locked away. No one knew what it was, only that, long ago, the spirits fought and nearly perished, sealing it beneath. Twisted roots and endless dark. The trees grew thicker around the prison. The wind died, and the silence became sacred. For centuries, the people respected the boundary. They brought offerings, honey, milk, carved idols, songs sung at dawn. The forest answered with protection. Livestock thrived. Storms passed, and children slept without nightmares. A balance was kept until progress came. It started like most tragedies do, with money. A private investment group based out of Chicago bought up land parcels for a new development. Forest Ridge Estates, they called it. A gated community with solar-powered villas, a shopping center, and an artificial lake. The brochures showed smiling families beside trimmed lawns. No mention of what lived beneath the soil. Locals warned them. Old folks refused to sell. One man, Tom Billings, stood in front of a bulldozer with a shotgun and a prayer book. They arrested him for trespassing on his own land. And still the machines came. The first tree fell on a Tuesday, a red oak wide as a truck, over 2 centuries old. The chainsaw jammed twice. The sky turned dark, though no clouds moved in, and as the tree cracked and groaned, those standing closest said they heard something else, breathing, slow, deep, ancient. That night the wind returned, but it didn't blow, it circled. It hunted. By Thursday, workers had gone missing. One was found wandering near the river, clothes torn, eyes hollow. He kept mumbling, "They're not sleeping anymore. They saw the light. We let them see." Another was discovered crushed beneath his own excavator, not in the cab beneath it. The third was never found. The developers blamed accidents. PR campaigns rolled out. Unstable terrain, they said. Wild animals, they shrugged. But the locals knew, and the forest was just getting started. Then came the visions. Engineers began to dream of twisted faces in the bark, voices whispering through fire alarms. Phones rang with no one on the line. Only the sound of leaves, endless, rustling leaves. One woman, a contractor from Ohio, jumped from her hotel window. Her final words were scrawled in blood across the bathroom wall. "You've broken the seal. They're coming for the roots." But it wasn't just spirits that stirred. Beneath the forest floor, something began to pulse. A beat, slow and rhythmic like a second heartbeat beneath the soil. Animals fled. Birds vanished. The sky turned the color of old bruises, and thunder cracked with no storm. Deep in the heart of the woods, where the air had always been too still, the ground split open, and something looked up. It had no eyes, no mouth, only the weight of hunger, the gravity of wrath. It was the thing the spirits had buried, the thing with no name, the thing that wanted out. The spirits rose again, not as men in cloaks or saints in robes, but as shadow-wrapped figures of bark and moss, with antlers of bone and eyes like dying stars. They did not plead, they judged. Each soul who took part in the desecration was found. Chainsaws rusted in their hands, tires melted under their cars, blood boiled in their veins. Some were swallowed by the roots, themselves dragged screaming into the soil. As trees bent low to watch, others were left alive marked, faces twisted, eyes turned black. They walked, but no longer spoke, only stared at the forest they tried to kill. The moneymen, those who funded it all, suffered differently. One lost everything overnight: wife, children, home without explanation. Another was institutionalized after cutting off his ears, claiming the trees wouldn't stop screaming. A third vanished during a board meeting, replaced by a circle of scorched wood in the carpet, and a smell no one could describe. Then the silence returned, and with it the people came, the locals, the descendants of those who once honored the forest. They brought what they could: jars of honey, baked bread, wood-carved animals, silver bells. They laid them at the new edge of the forest, where the machines had stopped, where the soil still bled. They sang, they wept, and they asked forgiveness, not for their sins, but for the sins of those who would not listen. For 3 nights, nothing happened. Then, on the 4th morning, flowers bloomed where the first tree had fallen. Birdsong returned, and the wind, once again, carried only the scent of pine and moss. The forest had heard. The development was abandoned. No one dared to sell the land again. Maps were redrawn, the boundary respected. But the people knew. The seal was never as strong as before, the thing beneath still dreams. And the spirits? They no longer sleep, they watch. So if you ever find yourself near the ridge, where roads end and the trees grow thick, don't bring steel, don't bring fire. Don't bring arrogance. Bring an offering, and walk softly, because not everything in the woods is dead, and not everything buried stays buried.